The headline medical stories that affect you and your family. This is What's Happening in Health, sponsored by Mayfield Brain & Spine.
Morning, everybody, and welcome to What's Happening in Health. So grateful you are joining us this Sunday morning. We have a great hour of hope and healing for you. Sure is a pretty season, isn't it? But what if you're enjoying the sights, but not the sounds of the beautiful Christmas season? Do you hear what I hear? What a great lead-in for our wonderful team of audiologists in-house. I want to welcome Dr. Stephanie Grace of Phonak, Dr. Matthew Kist of One Hearing Care and Associates, and audiologist Dr. Lindsay Coble. She is with Audiology Always in Indiana. We have solutions to help someone you love overcome hearing loss. And speaking of the holidays, it can also be a sad time if you've had a recent loss or you're experiencing a loss of some sort in your life, and not always a person, something like a relationship. Well, we know who to talk to about that. We want to welcome our wonderful friend, Krista Powers. You probably know her as a breast cancer survivor, but she also recently wrote a book called Good Grief, and we're going to hear more about it as she tells us how to find support. So nice to have you back, my friend. But first, a quick headline for you this holiday season. Maybe it's all good food, good drinks, but the American Stroke Association says more strokes occur between November and February than any other 4-month period. We change our eating, our sleeping patterns, our stress levels go up right now. And if you've been having bad headaches or even mini strokes, it's important to find out the cause of the warning signs.
Sometimes we can identify a risk factor that's maybe producing some of those warning signs or putting you at risk for stroke, so we can treat those risk factors and eliminate them to reduce your risk. It's also true that stroke can happen from a number of different problems. One might be a problem with the blood clotting in your circulatory system, so we have to use certain blood thinners. It might be a funny rhythm in your heart or a problem with the heart valve that's causing the clots, and those are also treated with a particular kind of blood thinners. Or it could be what we call the rust in the pipes or atherosclerotic disease, hardening of the arteries, and we use a different category of medications for those problems.
That's Dr. Andy Ringer of Mayfield Brain & Spine. They said they'd love to have you make an appointment if you're noticing anything unusual for you. 513-221-1100 is the number to call. And now to our top story this half hour. It's an Ask a Nurse, and we ask about flu cases that are rising in our community. What are the top steps of highly healthy people who don't get the flu each year? First step, they get vaccinated against the flu. Even though questions are coming up about this new KH3N2 flu strain now circulating across the globe.
The biggest question probably is how well the flu shot covers the current, seasonal influenza.
Family medicine specialist Dr. Scott Woods of Ohio's TriHealth says the vaccine can still reduce the odds you'll get seriously sick from the new K strain. It's said to be a drift, not a shift from what the shot currently covers. Second step.
15 seconds, so we're going to drop our heels and we're going to dive in.
Work up a sweat often this flu season. It not only keeps your immune system strong, it helps your mental health, which also leads to fewer sick days. Here at Ohio's My Fitness Suites, Mallory Kunkel is a hot yoga fan.
Helps you cleanse, helps your mind, helps your body, just great all around your wellness.
Third step, up your produce intake. Laura Brown, the director of nutrition for Kroger Health, told me, don't just strive for 5 servings of fruits and vegetables each day, but at least 3 different colors. Those colors have nutrients to help fight flu infection.
I always recommend that we just add a fruit or a vegetable at every single meal.
Finally, do what these nursing students here at Ohio's Mount St. Joseph University do all winter to stay well.
I would say wash your hands, probably the most important thing.
And wash them at least long enough to sing happy birthday twice. And by the way, speaking of your hands, Dr. Woods says keep your own hands off your own face. The flu spreads from respiratory droplets, and they can be on surfaces you touch, and that's how they get into the body. All right, in Healthy Innovations today, a really inspiring story. It proves it's never too late. Don't give up on your dreams. Debbie Brown started as a student at Miami University in 1974, had to drop out of school for financial reasons 2 years later. Brown had a successful career as a dental hygienist for 41 years and retired in 2020. She knew she wanted to finish school, however, at Miami University and started taking classes again.
I really want to come back to Miami and finish my degree. I want to get a bachelor's degree. And I thought, well, what would interest me? I was done with the sciences. And so I thought, well, I love history. So I just wanted to take as many history classes as I could to get my degree. I wanted to do it before I was 70, and I'll be 70 here in a few months. So I completed that goal.
Well, doesn't that inspire you? She officially graduated on Friday with a Bachelor of Arts in History. She calls this accomplishment, quote, one of the biggest highlights of her life. Congratulations. You really do inspire all of us. All right, coming up, how our Hawksworth Donor of the Week making sure that children who are in need of blood and blood products get those products. Plus, help for hearing loss. Dr. Matt, Dr. Lindsay, and Dr. Stephanie all here to tell us how the holiday can sort of let you know a little bit about someone's hearing and what we all need to know. Coming up on What's Happening in Health.
This portion of What's Happening in Health is sponsored by Life Enriching Communities and Hawksworth.
Welcome back, everybody. I want to tell you about our donor of the week. That person donating blood for decades, and we recently had a chance to meet Thomas Klein. He's from Batavia at the Anderson Donor Center is where he donates, but he told us he first started giving blood nearly 40 years ago. He continues to do this because he said there's always a need. He says he donates on behalf of Cincinnati Children's Hospital because he wants to make sure that kids who need blood and blood products can get those.
I give because you never know who needs it, and I know that they're always running short on blood supply and the platelets and slash plasma. Plasma is always in big demand.
If you do donate with Hawksworth this month, you'll receive this special Hawksworth Hero backpack as a thank you. And if you can schedule an appointment, they promise the blood to area hospitals based on those appointments. You can do that by calling 513-451-0910, or you can go to what'shappeninginhealth.com or visit the Hawksworth app. All right, on now to one of our favorite segments here called Listen to This. And we're talking about this because I am convinced that when you haven't seen relatives for a year and they come back, you notice health changes. They probably notice them in us too. And one of those you'll often notice is, I don't think Uncle Joe is hearing us as well. Common?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, so delicate subject, but we wanted you to talk about, how you address some of those things and what's available. And we've met Stephanie, but remind us who you work for and what you do.
So I'm Stephanie Grace, and I'm an audiologist, and I work for Phonak. We're a hearing aid manufacturer.
And you do some cool stuff. So she brought some show and tell to tell us. Dr. Matt, tell us about you.
Dr. Matthew Kiss. I'm the owner of Northern Kentucky Audiology, also known as Lund Hearing Care. Also an audiologist there, down in Florence, Kentucky.
And you brought friends.
I did. I brought my pal with me.
Tell us a little bit about you.
I'm Dr. Lindsay Coble. I own an audiology practice in Auburn, Indiana, in northern Indiana, north of Fort Wayne.
And so I've noticed that you guys sort of all partner to share patients and whatnot. Tell us a little bit about how you work together.
So for us, specifically having kind of a strong business mindset as well, it's really important for us to provide the best patient care at an affordable cost. And I think we both approach that game plan very similarly with how we pull patients in, how we treat patients, and how we provide care years after that as well. So we always kind of bounce ideas off of each other, things that work, things that might work a little bit better if we tweak it, what's working in her market, what's working in my market, what do we see in our own families and friends, what's working, and we go from there.
So what are you seeing in your own family and friends, especially around the holidays?
Right now it's very typical. You'll get patients coming in saying, well, we were together for Thanksgiving. I noticed, my dad was pulling away, or he was sitting in a room by himself because he felt lost in conversation. And a lot of times what can happen as we get older, or if we have unaddressed hearing loss, it can become more difficult to process multiple conversations at once, really loud groups, especially in a small room, clinking and clanging happening as well. Maybe there's music playing. And if they don't know they have a hearing loss, or if it's maybe getting to the point where it's really impacting how active they are, that's definitely the time to act on it.
Well, it is really something, for whatever reason at the holidays, maybe the noisy environments and that you do tend to get together with a lot of people, that you do sort of notice if someone's not participating or asking you to repeat everything. So I'm not sure where to start, but I want to make sure that we have the technology. So you have a few things that separate the speech from the noise.
We do.
And some of these even look newer than what we've talked about before. What do we have?
So at Phonak, we pride ourselves on having a solution for everybody. So what I brought with me today are a pair of our custom hearing aids, as well as our receiver in the canal over-the-ear hearing aids. These are the more common style of devices. All of these operate on artificial intelligence in the chip, which really does a great job at making it easy for the user. They don't have to think about changing a program, pushing a button, adjusting the volume. All they have to do is wear the device, and the chip will automatically put the hearing aids in the appropriate program that it needs to be in based on the environment.
So that's, one of the many ways we're now using AI in technology, which in medicine, which is great. But I have to ask, the custom, aren't they all custom, or what makes this
So
different?
the custom devices are actually custom fit to your ear. So your audiologist will take an impression of your ear, and then these sit right down comfortably in the ear canal, and
those are wireless.
Yep.
Whoa.
Yep. And these have the same capabilities as the receiver in the canal over the ear. They can be connected to your phone. You can stream phone calls, music, podcasts, etc. We have several accessories that will pair up to this, but it's a really nice kind of discrete custom device that does it all, and it's rechargeable.
Oh my goodness. Well, who needs earbuds when you have those, right?
I know, patients love it. Patients love it.
I am hearing, and I think Dr. Matt maybe told us this, that some of the younger population is more open because we have this better technology. Have you noticed that?
They are. I have noticed that. When a patient recognizes that a hearing aid is more than just a hearing device, that now they can connect it to their phone, they can listen to their audiobooks or listen to music, it just helps you feel more connected with your world. Beyond just better hearing, it helps you hear phone calls better from your kids who are away at college or your doctor's appointments, and it really helps you kind of be more empowered with your hearing health and your overall health.
And I've asked, I think Dr. Matt and Stephanie this before, but I'll ask you, what is the best way to get someone in to see some of the new technology? Because people are so resistant.
People are so resistant. I think the best way is sometimes it takes the kids or their grandkids to encourage their grandparents or their parents that there is new technology out there. We all think of hearing aids as being the old big beige hearing aid that's clunky and takes batteries. And hearing aids have truly come so far. And so just taking that step to get into an audiologist's office to see what could be helpful is really the first step to better hearing care.
Yeah, well, we have a little video of Dr. Matt doing some hearing tests, but what is the right way at the holidays? Because you don't just want to blurt it out in front of are there delicate things to bring up, or what do you tell people?
When I have husband and wife teams in my office, I always like to remind them communication is a two-way street. It's going to take effort on both ends. Don't be afraid to ask for repetition, but on the back end, the other person should maybe slow down a little bit when they talk, try to find maybe a quieter space to move off to for 5 minutes or so, look at the person when you're talking to them as well. Just understand that the processing slows down as we get older. They may be hearing you, but they may not always be understanding you. So if you can talk a little bit slower and a little bit more clear, that can go a long way.
But it's hard because you can only accommodate for so long. Yeah. All right, I want to give Stephanie the final word because people always say, but I can't afford these, and there's over-the-counter ones. Let's talk about how we make that approachable.
So again, coming in to have an evaluation with your hearing care professional, getting your hearing test done, and then really reviewing your needs and the results of the test, and then your audiologist can help you make the best determination as far as what's appropriate for you, based on your budget, but also your lifestyle, more importantly, and your overall hearing needs.
There have been at least efforts to try to get laws to get these included, and I got to tell you, we're really behind those to get some of these more reimbursed with healthcare, which could make such a big difference.
Definitely.
Yeah. All right, we want to make sure that we tell about Dr. Matt. You got a special event coming up.
So this is something we're doing for the first time. We're really excited about it. So thanks to Dr. Morgan McGowan for really making this happen. If you know somebody who could benefit from hearing aids and top-level care, send us their story, either call us or email us. We're going to put all the names we receive in a hat, and that's really the only fair way to do it, and draw it out of a hat, provide that person with a top level set of devices with care for 3 years, make sure they're doing well, continued follow-up. And the goal here is to really bring more advocacy to our world, more understanding and awareness, and hopefully grow this program as we move forward, maybe 2 people next year, maybe 4 after that. So
that is a great idea, because there's nothing you'd like more than to see someone get help that you love.
Definitely.
Yeah, best feeling. Well, thank you. We have links to all of Phonak as well as their businesses if you'd like to find out either of those. Thanks for being in a rural area. We love to just kind of let people know that you're there. Where in Indiana?
Thank you. Auburn, Indiana.
Auburn, Indiana. So no excuses that we have to drive too far or anything else. You guys, thank you for always just raising awareness. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
And Merry Christmas and all that stuff.
Thanks.
Just ahead, another promising health benefit. It's linked to those new injectable weight loss medications. We'll share it in Waiting for Life. And author and life coach Krista Powers hanging out with us. She's going to talk to us about our journey. And see that book she's holding up? It's called Good Grief. We're going to tell you a little bit about what she knows about that. Stay with us on What's Happening in Health.
This portion of What's Happening in Health is sponsored by Miami University, the Vein Center of Cincinnati, and Lindner Center of Hope.
Welcome back, everybody. And Waiting for Life today, semaglutide may protect kidney health. That's those injectable medications that we now know under the names of Zepbound, Wegovy, Ozempic. They appear to help balance a protein that normally is excreted from your kidneys. It can help preserve what's called your glomerular filtration rate. That is when the kidneys need to excrete things properly. And it can also help with type 2 diabetes. Now, this is according to research presented at the meeting of the American Society of Nephrology. Study found that semaglutide also reduced inflammation in the kidneys. Future research may identify that means new therapeutic agents that can target kidneys and protect the kidney based on these findings. All right, if you are struggling with loss or grief this holiday season, and aren't we all, we know who could help about this. Want to welcome back our good friend Krista Powers. Let's ask first, how are you?
I'm really well. I am so close to the end of this breast cancer journey, and the healing and the emotional, just play out of all of it.
And as I recall, didn't you start working on the book before?
I did. So there's some stories within this about my breast cancer journey, but it's not focused on that. I think that helps solidify some of the things that I had been noodling on in advance of that diagnosis.
Well, I know one of the things we talked about is when we think of grief, you think, oh, I lost a family member or that. But you encompass grief in a very different way in this book. Tell me about this.
Well, what I've learned through my own journey and listening to others is that grief is an everyday thing. So whether it's, the lack of sleep after your kiddo was up all night, or a divorce, job loss, or even just a shift and change in the way of life and what's going on for you. Those are all little and big moments of grief that I believe culturally we get to pay attention to in order to work through it.
I know I had a girlfriend that went through a bad breakup, and she said, I feel like my life is going on without me. And that loss in a relationship is big. Yeah.
Yes, and how powerful to get to say those words to someone.
Yeah, and so let's talk about the book. What's it called? What's it like?
So the book is called Good Grief, Inviting Grief to be a Catalyst for Growth. And it's very, I believe, easy to read. As people have shared with me as they're reading this, there's stories throughout, and I'm putting forward this concept of the 5 powers of grief, because most often grief is very heavy, and yet I believe, like most things, there's a spectrum. And so if one end is heavy, I think we get to look at what else is on the spectrum of grief. And so we can view it from a neutral perspective where we have curiosity and gentle awareness, as well as what is the power that is within grief for us. And so I broach that conversation. I also offer some ideas for different ways to speak to people who are grieving, not always to say, how are you? Or do you need anything? Because those are hard questions to answer when you're in the midst of grief.
That's really true. People say, if one more person asks me how I am, how do you think I am?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sad.
Yes.
So tell me about just a couple of the 5. What do you mean when you say that?
So a couple of them are flow of feelings, and that's very much what we talk about with the stages of grief that we've heard about for years. I also talk about holding, breaking, and remembering ourselves. So those are kind of the nuances of what I believe goes along with grief, in addition to the feelings and emotions. And ultimately, it really requires that we bear witness to one another. And I think as we look at the holiday season, as things can feel especially heavy, as we're expected to be joyful and engage with so many other people, that one of the best gifts we can offer one another at the holidays and throughout the year is to listen. And not to listen as a springboard to bring it back to myself, not to listen to fix, but really just to bear witness to one another and give space for grief to be what it is.
Yeah, we have so much bombarding us now that listening's sort of a lost art. You know,
It
you're always
is.
distracted with something. So a couple things. How did your breast cancer journey sort of shift your grief perspective?
Liz, it has taught me about the powers of grief. It's taught me the other end of the spectrum, and to give myself permission to look at the whole spectrum of grief and to let it be heavy, let it be neutral, let it be powerful, and to also be curious with other people about their own journey of grief, and to listen to what phase are you in, what stage, what power are you maybe about to tap into, if we can bring some language to that.
Because I thought it was really interesting when you said even the loss of like my body parts
Yes.
is I grieve for.
Yes.
You know, it's a lot of change.
It is. And that's part of what I'm still going through, is like grieving what was. And that's why I talk about holding, you know, what was before the diagnosis. I want to go back to that. And that's not possible. And so I get to break that hold and really start to embrace my new body, my new flow, my new energy and systems and hormones and all of it. It's been like this master class in grief, I feel like.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, while you had a lot of loss, you had a gain. We had to put up a few pictures of
Yes.
this recent wedding.
Yes.
We kind of got to follow your journey, and we never thought that we would see this wonderful person in your life. Tell us about this.
Oh, Patrick, the love of my life, and this joyful moment that we got married at the base of the Roadway Bridge in Covington. There we are together, and it was just the whole essence of the wedding was community, connection, and celebration, and that's what it was. It gives me goosebumps. Thanks for sharing this.
Yeah, it was exciting to see not
There's my
only
dad.
someone want to share your life even though they had gone through this illness, because I mean, I gotta say, like that dude gets kudos.
He does. And yeah, what he has journeyed through the process has been so powerful and allowed me to really distill where I am in my journey. He's been a witness to it all.
Yeah, it certainly helps to have support and friends and partners.
Yes.
Yeah. And then if we want this as a stocking stuffer, where is it? How do we get it? What's it
So
cost?
I have a website, KristaPowers.com. You can tap into this book or my previous book there, and some other resources that are free. If you want to buy the book, there's links on my website, and you can buy it for $20. There's some tax and shipping as well. And it's on Amazon. It's at Joseph Beth. It's at some bookstores locally.
Good,
Yeah.
good for you. Because it's a kind gift. You know, it's not like saying, hey, you're messed up. It's something that
Right.
says we can use this for good. And just proof that God has a sense of humor. Remind me of your first book title.
Midlife Calm, Alternative to Midlife Crisis. Oh, the foreshadowing.
It was, and she tells me she has this book and then gets diagnosed with breast
Yeah.
cancer. And it was just such an interesting thing to see how you brought it all together. Well, God bless you, my friend. It is
thank
so
you.
nice to see you kind of at a different stage in the journey, I'll just say. I won't say through it, but yeah,
Thank
makes
you.
a big difference. And thanks for letting us come along.
My honor.
Yeah, been a pleasure. All right, coming up, how the sights and the sounds of the holidays can bring hope and comfort to those who are struggling, and helping those who are hungry and who have other needs in our community. We want to welcome Shane Armstrong and Courtney Danks. They are here with a wonderful organization called Master Provisions. If you don't know about them, you should. They have a huge need this time of year. We're going to tell you how we can all help. Stay with us on What's Happening in Health.
This portion of What's Happening in Health is sponsored by Network for Hope and William E. Hesch Law.
In your So Vein today, a new study shows the serious health consequences for people exposed to air pollution. Researchers at the University of Toronto say being exposed to bad air puts you at a higher risk of severe heart disease. Of course, that influences your vascular system. Air pollution is one of the biggest environmental risks, they say, to health, and contributed to an estimated 2.4 million cardiovascular deaths in 2021. Study also shows even pollution levels that are below regulatory standards can lead to heart disease. disease. In Hope You Know, which is what we hope you know about your mental health each week, the sights and the sounds and the smells during the holiday season can bring a comforting sense of nostalgia, some say. Specialists at the Cleveland Clinic that provided this video say that nostalgia can boost our mood and give us a break from holiday stress. It can also help us feel more connected to loved ones when we reminisce about favorite times in the past. Simple moments, they say, sort of spark nostalgia. Enjoying your favorite food that someone brings each year, watching a holiday movie. Many of our vivid memories come from childhood. Now, while that can make us feel good, there are also some downsides.
On the flip side, too much nostalgia can make you feel stuck in the past. You can feel sad of longing for traditions that are gone. It can highlight a loss, and instead of make you feel filled up, it can drag you down to make you feel emotionally heavy and longing for the past.
So experts say if you want to avoid some of these negative feelings, just stay present in the moment when you can and try making some new traditions every year as well. All right, coming up, what's driving an epidemic of loneliness? While we're talking about this in the U.S., we'll tell you about who tends to be worse off with this feeling. Plus, if you are seeking help or struggling with mental health, we want to welcome Dr. Charles Roberts. Give me a quick hello there. He is here from a wonderful place called Mindfully in our community. He's going to share how his organization is making a difference. Stay with us.
The headline medical stories that affect you and your family. This is What's Happening in Health, sponsored by TriHealth.
Welcome back, everybody, to our second half hour here. What's Happening in Health? Helping to feed the hungry in our community, helping families in a whole bunch of ways. This wonderful place called Master Provisions has a ministry that is serving a critical need right now. We want to welcome Shane Armstrong, Courtney Danks from this wonderful team here today, and we're going to share how we can all help them coming up right at the end of the year. And the holidays can be a difficult time for many people battling mental health concerns. So we reached out to talk to Dr. Charles Roberts. He is with Mindfully, and he is leading a private mental health agency in our community. He's a provider there. We're going to talk a little bit about beating and treating some of the holiday depression. Thank you for joining us today. But first, our top story this half hour, those warm destinations for travel might be a bit of a health hazard. The CDC has now issued a travel advisory about a virus known as chikungunya. It spreads by mosquitoes.
It is common in other parts of the world. We'll see it in Southeast Asia, South America.
In addition to these areas, however, the suggestion now by the CDC is to practice advanced precautions when visiting Cuba, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and Guangdong province in southern China. That means
if you are an adult up to age 60, you can still get the chikungunya vaccine.
You should also do everything possible to reduce contact with mosquitoes in these areas.
The best way to prevent it is to not get mosquito bites. So if you're traveling in these areas, you should make sure that you cover up in the evening when the mosquitoes are out, make sure that you wear mosquito repellent, and be cautious about getting mosquito bites.
Chikungunya can make you very sick, most commonly with joint pain and a fever. But you can also get bad headaches, muscle pain, joint swelling, or a rash. These set in 3 to 7 days, usually after infection. While most people recover within a week or two, many have joint pain for months. The CDC says these newer areas have spread of this illness, but they also say there's elevated risk in many other common travel destination countries, and these include Brazil, Colombia, India, Mexico, Nigeria, Pakistan, the Philippines, and Thailand. Now, these advisories are updated as these outbreaks evolve, but if symptoms do not resolve within a week and you've traveled to any of these areas, it is suggested that you seek medical attention. All right, on now to healthy diversity. A new survey shows loneliness is at an all-time high, especially in the winter months, and it may impact certain populations more than others, including those who are poor or who live in rural areas. 40% of Americans 45 and older are now lonely, according to a new AARP survey. That's 5% higher than last time the survey was conducted in 2018. Key predictors include smaller social networks, a declining number of friends, and more mental health concerns. This, according to the survey. There's also a gender gap, with men reporting they are significantly lonelier than women. Experts say finding community can be key in overcoming loneliness.
Try to find somebody, anything, anything that will lift you up, a friend, a neighbor, that will give you a purpose.
And loneliness rates were also higher in rural versus urban areas and in those with who have lower socioeconomic status. All right, in your Healthy Rights today, you have the right to know that social media is now a leading cause or a leading source of inaccurate health information. Those who track our popular health habits now say some of the top myths of 25 came from our online surfing. They include no days off, that mindset that when it comes to exercise or a strict diet, you can't ever take a day off. It's also leading to overconsumption of protein and fiber, which can have negative health outcomes if you overdo it. Other debunked habits that are promoted on social media include using only honey for allergy treatment, relying on AI for your mental health, and skipping the sunscreen because it's bad for you. All right, just ahead, kissing under the mistletoe. What to know about better lips this holiday season. Plus, serving families in our community. Shane and Courtney from Master Provision is going to tell us how we can all help support an organization that fights hunger, body, mind, and soul. Stay with us on What's Happening in Health.
This portion of What's Happening in Health is sponsored by Metro.
In Look Good, Feel Better today, if you want your lips to look good, maybe for kissing under the mistletoe or anything else, you might want to know that the trend is shifting. Karen Whitney is a physician's assistant with the Advanced Cosmetic Surgery and Laser Center. She says while full lips are still popular, overfilling is not. Here's what she shared about Botox and fillers for better looking lips this holiday season.
So most of my patients who are seeking lip filler are younger women looking to enhance or slightly alter the shape of their lips to give them a more plump, attractive look, and also women a little bit older who are fighting the signs of aging in the lips and mouth area, which is volume loss.
Here are some before and after pictures. Many of the women that go to the Advanced Cosmetic Surgery Center were willing to share with us kind of the natural look. As you can see, the overfilling thing is not popular. Filler usually lasts, they say, for about a year, costs you $400 to $800. In most cases, it's not covered by your medical insurance plan, but if you'd like more information, 513-351-3223. All right, on now to a wonderful team from Master Provisions. Nice to have you back in-house.
It's great to be back. Thank
Hello
you, Liz.
to you. Remind us who
you
you are and what is Master Provisions.
Yeah, Shane Armstrong. I have the privilege to serve on the team at Master Provisions. And so we're focused right now is more like a food bank. And so we have the privilege to work with over 220 nonprofits that come, think like homeless shelters and recovery centers, soup kitchens, food pantries, all those, churches, schools. They got to be a 501c3 that comes to us, but we go get like mispackaged and overproduced food, process it in our warehouse with volunteers, and then we set it out in our resource center for them to come and get. So it's been an interesting season that we're working through right now. So that's kind of what we do.
Yes, and I don't know if we've met Courtney on camera, but tell us a little bit about you and how you work with them.
Yeah, so I'm Courtney. I work with Shane over at Master Provisions, but I do marketing and development over there. But our team is a small team, and we've all kind of got our hands in all of the mission for sure. So
yeah, you're always a slash in this business where we say you're an anchor / floor sweeper or
That's
whatever
right.
you got to be.
It doesn't matter.
You do what it takes to get it done. We understand that.
That's right.
So he's saying the need has grown. When you're marketing services and running development, I bet you've seen a real growth in that need.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
Do you track, or how do you find out as you grow and what the need is and how it changes?
Yeah, so in a really tangible way, we've actually gotten 36 new agency partners just this year alone. So that's 36 more of those 501c3s he was talking about that are coming, that need resources to get to the communities that they serve. But in less tangible ways, it's just we're seeing folks want to come in more frequently to get what they need. We can sense just the tension and stress to meet the growing need. And so for our part, we're just doing the best that we can to try and make sure that we're a consistent resource that they can come to and know they can get what they need and take that kind of layer of stress off their plate.
So if you're not familiar, 501(c)(3)s are these nonprofits.
That's right.
So there's a number of them in our community, and you gave us some pictures because you've had such a growth need that you've had to expand your building. So tell me, what are we expanding, and just a little bit about the process of what you'll have as you grow.
Yeah, the need has just grown so significantly. As Courtney was talking about, one of the things to talk about in that 36, that a lot of those are brand new organizations.
So it's not the same ones asking for more. It's
There's ones asking for more, but now there's more organizations have started because of the need is so big. But so we've launched this opportunity. We're moving to this new building, hopefully by February, 30,000 square foot warehouse on Tobin Drive in Independence, Kentucky. And we're really, really excited about it in a variety of ways. We feel like it's the opportunity, what God has called us to provide more resources, because with the name Master Provisions, we believe we have one master, that's God. We get distracted in a variety of ways, but He provides for all of our needs. Mental, emotional, spiritual, in a variety of ways through that. Physical, obviously, in what we do. So we do have a 3,000 square foot cooler freezer that we're very excited about, that's going to provide a whole lot more resources for the needs that continue to grow. So we're excited
So in
about
other
that.
words, let's take a restaurant. They might have extra things that would be frozen.
That's correct. That's correct. So if there's any organization, we work with a lot of organizations that have some that that's overproduced, and like they over order sometimes. And so if they're not going to be able to move it fast enough, we are able to go partner with them and get it in our warehouse to get it out into the 501(c)(3), all these nonprofits, right? So to help out with them.
So we have a graphic, but we were kind of wondering, it's the end of the year, and a lot of us do look at our year-end giving, and sometimes it's our money, sometimes it's our time, but how can we help? What should we be
variety
asking?
of ways. There's a few things. First of all, the foundation for us is to pray for us. Like we want to pray for God to provide the resources that our community needs. We feel like this is a beacon, like Master Provisions, a beacon opportunity for people to receive that. There's ways you can come and serve if you want to do that, serve within your community. But there's ways that you can give, and that some of that is tied to financial. In other ways, there's food drives you can do. So there's so many different ways that you can give. You can go online with us, masterprovisions.org, and find out a little bit more through that.
Well, I know there's a saying, you get when you give. So I know you've sort of stepped into this role newer. I'm wondering how you have kind of felt personally in growth and what you've seen, because it can be life-changing to see, A, the need, and B, how people step up. So what has it meant to you?
I mean, for me, I have 3 daughters, and they love to come in and serve with me. One of my favorite Master Provisions memories, they came in and we were processing a bulk shipment of potatoes. And so we were basically bagging them up, more like what you would see at the grocery store. And so it would be easier for the other nonprofits to take them and get them to people in need. And while my girls were helping package all of those potatoes, we actually had a homeless shelter come in that said they were going to be getting them into the hands of homeless people in our community that very same night. So just really cool opportunities to see kind of the fruit of all the work that's going on behind the scenes and see how God is providing. Agencies sometimes come in and say, hey, we really need this specific thing. And it's like we're stressing about it because we get in our own head and forget that He's got it. And a truck will show up the very next day with exactly what we need. So
that is remarkable. And I think about these cold nights, and if you're homeless, a hot potato, you don't think about the little joys that could come from that. Sounds small, but it's big. And you do remind us that praying is not doing nothing.
Yes. That is the foundation of everything that we are about. Truly, it is the foundation that makes everything go.
Yeah, so all of us, that's free, we can do that. We want to make sure that if you don't know who they are, or you'd like to find out more, just go to what'shappeninginhealth.com. We have links to you, ways to give, and we'll be continuing to follow up. Can't wait to be in your new place and just share how you serve more.
Thank you so much.
What you do is just such a blessing to the community. It's remarkable.
Well, thank you. It's a blessing for us to be a part of it.
Yeah. Well, like you said, you feel it.
Yeah.
Kind of a calling, isn't it?
That's right. That's exactly right.
Well, God bless you.
And
nice to have you.
Thank you for having us.
All right, just ahead, making our roads as safe as possible. What changes are being proposed to help reduce some injuries from deaths and traffic accidents? We talk about transportation here because that's an important part of good health. And we can't wait to share more from Dr. Charles Roberts. He's with Mindfully. What to do about feeling the blues. Stay with us on What's Happening in Health.
This portion of What's Happening in Health is sponsored by Northern Kentucky Audiology.
In Staying healthy on the go today, where we talk about transportation and your health. There is a new push to make safety changes on our roadways. Advocates for highway and auto safety, as they're called, recently came out with 2026 guidelines or a roadmap to safety. They graded each state for how we're doing on traffic safety, and Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana all received sort of a caution status. Of the 3 states in our region, Ohio had the highest number of deadly crashes last year, 1,160 fatalities. But the group calling for specific highway laws said that there's more we could do. They suggest that more of us wear seat belts, that it would be a way to primarily enforce what's happening. The group also wants a law requiring all motorcycle riders to wear helmets. A few other things: some states don't have a booster seat law, and a law requiring children 2 and younger to be facing the rear in a car seat in the back seat. All right, on now to feeling the blues. We've all had that this time of year, and we wanted to reach out and, first of all, let us know we're not alone. So tell us who you are and what you do.
I'm Charles Roberts. I am the head of clinical for a group called Mindfully that is based here in Cincinnati.
And what is Mindfully?
Mindfully is a multi-specialty private practice group. We were originally founded here in the Cincinnati area, and we now have 16 locations throughout the state of Ohio where people can get services.
So what kind of services?
Well, we offer psychiatry counseling services to children, adults, and adolescents, couples, families, the whole spectrum. We have specialized clinical teams that specialize in almost anything that you could need services in.
And do you do both individual and group counseling, and online and in person?
Individual, group, couples, family, in person and online teletherapy.
So what's your growth been like lately?
We've been growing consistently. The need is it's just not stopping.
Yeah. So we notice at the holidays, all of us to some extent can feel a little melancholy about what's happening, but there's been sort of a growing interest that the holidays are supposed to be joyful, and not all of us are really feeling that. So why do you think it is that so many of us sort of feel the blues at the holidays?
Well, you've got a couple of different things that are going on, especially here in the greater Cincinnati area. The weather is just not so sunny here, and there's this thing called seasonal depression that a lot of people are struggling with and they don't even realize it. It's just sort of a low mood, low activity level. It's known as seasonal affective depression, SAD, and it just sort of is an underlying melancholy that kind of floats through the winter months, and it's really highlighted around the holidays when there is that juxtaposition between the family get-togethers and all the expectations and the stress, and everybody's supposed to be so happy and so joyful, and you're just not always feeling it.
Yeah, so we have a little video. Just wondered, how much do you feel like social media plays a role in that now? Because you know what you see on there in real life can be quite a contrast.
Oh yeah, social media is it is very specific about what people want to show. Typically when people are posting things on social media, it's the great things, it's the happy things. And so we do a lot of comparisons when we're looking at social media and our friends, and we see all the great things that they're doing. And we don't really see their struggles, and we don't see the stress that they're under. And so we do a lot of comparison between ourselves and that individual. And we find ourselves coming up short, and that's just not really real.
Mm-hmm. So I would be amiss not to ask then, what do you suggest so we don't feel this way, or do you just let yourself feel this way? What are some ways to sort of manage this season?
Well, a couple of things you can think about just to manage the general melancholy, the SAD stuff. I think about the food that we're eating. Our diet is a big part of it. The sunlight is a big part of it, and also our activity level. So SAD, sunlight, activity, diet.
So it's interesting to me that you would almost say things that are physical to help what is really your mental health. Why do you stress that so strongly?
There's a lot of connection between the physical, the mind, and the body. I mean, nature is so rejuvenating. We respond to sunlight just like plants do. And that's one of the big problems that sort of sets us up for some difficulties around the holidays. Add to that the fact that think about what we're eating and what we're drinking. We're drinking so much more alcohol, so much more sugar, so much more carbs, and that's the stuff that kind of makes us feel blah all the time anyway.
Oh, I don't know. Once in a while, those carbs just really cheer you up.
Sugar's great in the moment. It's just what comes after.
Right. I admit, some of that stuff is like your coping mechanism. All right, so final thought, when is the time where it's more than the blues?
Well, it's better to get on these things early. I think an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, and I think that is true for mental health especially. When you start to kind of feel that slide, that down, that I'm just not as motivated or as excited as I feel like I should be, it's a good time to check in. I don't know that means you're going to be in therapy for a really long time or that you're going to need these major interventions, but I think it's good to get ahead of it.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, we want to make sure people know how to find you, your agency, your people. We have a link to Mindfully at what'shappeninginhealth.com. And is there a waiting list or can we get in if we call?
There's really not much of a waiting list.
Good time, yeah. People don't really want to be in counseling at the holidays, but it doesn't mean we shouldn't.
For sure.
Yeah. Thank you for what you do. It's a pleasure to meet you here.
Great to be here.
All right, still ahead, why staying social is critical for all of us this holiday season, as we've been talking about. It's another thing that can help you feel a little more joy. It's next on What's Happening in Health.
This portion of What's Happening in Health is sponsored by Mount St. Joseph University and Advanced Cosmetic Surgery and Laser Center.
In Aging Gracefully, before we go, staying socially active, really critical right now during the holiday season. We recently attended the Holiday Boutique at Twin Lakes, which is a senior living community in Montgomery. And those who live there organized this event, including coordinating the vendors who offered goods and a place for people to shop if they can't leave that community. It's kind of a social gathering, though, and it's especially good for older adults to come together and interact with others.
Staying active is really important, particularly around the holidays, because it gives us the opportunity to focus on positives and being together.
So many of these people I have never met before that are residents here, and now I can walk through the hall when I come to an event and know a name, and that is really a special thing about the Holiday Boutique.
So that was a one-day event, but Twin Lakes has lots of other events that are open to the public. We have a link for more information if you'd like to find one, perhaps, that you are interested in attending. You can do that at what'shappeninginhealth.com. Well, that is it this week for What's Happening in Health. We're back same time next week. We hope that you will be too. Until then, everybody, stay well and stay tuned.